Independent pilots respond to Thargoid revelations. Following the recent Aegis report detailing the Thargoids' history, many members of the Pilots Federation have made public statements. "Everything is different now," said one commander. "It was disturbing enough when the Thargoids returned. To find out they've been around for millions of years, and that even the Guardians had trouble stopping them. It's like being told that the ancient gods, the vengeful ones who smite from above, were real all along." Other pilots had more practical concerns about the impact on the galactic community. "What worries me is when they start up their strip mining operation, which seems to be on the cards," said an experienced trader. "I transport ores and metals between dozens of planets. If those planets end up being gutted of minerals, that's my livelihood gone out the airlock." There were also emotional comments from those who value space exploration. "I bought a ship to discover what's out there, to voyage into the black. But now, knowing the Thargoids were there long before us, and might have infested anywhere we go. The black's theirs already, it was always theirs." However, one seasoned commander struck a belligerent tone. "All the Aegis report tells us is that these alien scumbags can be beaten. The Guardians did it once, now it's our turn. I've fought the Thargoids in the Pleiades, and I know they're not invincible. With Aegis's new weapons and now their megaships, we can make those insects wish they'd stayed in their hives." Week in Review. Here are this week's major stories. Aegis has constructed two megaships, the Acropolis and the Vanguard, to help counter the Thargoid threat. These ships will coordinate anti-Thargoid operations and support independent pilots. Aegis has confirmed that both vessels will periodically relocate to wherever they can be strategically effective. Meanwhile, many members of the Pilots Federation have responded to the recent Aegis report detailing the Thargoids' history. One commander admitted he was disturbed to discover that the Thargoids had been around for millions of years, and that even the Guardians had found it difficult to stop them. But other pilots were more forthright, with one reminding the galactic community that the Thargoids are not invincible. In other news, conflict has erupted between ROS 310 Natural Services, the controlling faction of the ROS 310 system, and the ROS 310 Cartel, a criminal organization also based in the region. It is understood that the ROS 310 Cartel is attempting to overthrow ROS 310 Natural Services and assume control of the system. Both organizations have issued calls for aid, appealing to independent combat pilots for support. Finally, the EG Union has announced that its campaign to build a shipyard in ROS 720 has received the wholehearted support of the galactic community. Hundreds of pilots supported the initiative by delivering commodities to Lyakov Dock, and by eliminating agitators in ROS 720 and surrounding systems, thereby ensuring the safety of traders. And those are the main stories this week. Anti-Thargoid megaships deployed by Aegis. Aegis has constructed two megaships, the Acropolis and the Vanguard, to help counter the Thargoid threat. The announcement came from Admiral Aiden Tanner, who explained the ship's purpose. "It is vital that Aegis has a military presence in the theater of conflict. These new ships will coordinate anti-Thargoid operations, wherever they are deployed, and will support independent pilots." In response to recent Thargoid incursions, the Acropolis has been dispatched to the Lunguni system, while the Vanguard is operating in the Mentor system. However, their key advantage over a starport or base is their mobility, so both will periodically relocate to wherever they can be strategically effective. Admiral Tanner went on to stress the importance of the development. Constructing these two gigantic vessels was a considerable undertaking for Aegis, but we are convinced the expense and effort is worthwhile. Our remit requires us to occupy a guiding role in the resistance against the Thargoids, and these megaships will bring that into focus. Thargoid sites go quiet. Admiral Aiden Tanner, Aegis's chief military liaison, has released a statement concerning the Thargoid structures currently under surveillance in the Pleiades Nebula. "Undoubtedly, the most positive outcome of our Eagle Eye initiative is that it has allowed us to determine which locations the Thargoids intend to attack. This has proved invaluable in our ongoing fight against the Thargoids. It appears, however, that the sites are currently dormant, as no energy level fluctuations have been detected for several days. Hopefully this means we can look forward to a temporary reprieve from Thargoid attacks. Our military flagships, the Vanguard and the Acropolis, will remain on standby in HEP 21559 and Erandan until needed. Conflict in ROS 310. Conflict has erupted between ROS 310 Natural Services, the controlling faction of the ROS 310 system, and the ROS 310 Cartel, a criminal organization also based in ROS 310. It is understood that the ROS 310 Cartel is attempting to overthrow ROS 310 Natural Services, and assume control of the system. Toru Jacobs, a member of ROS 310 Natural Services, issued the following statement. The ROS 310 Cartel is well equipped and highly organized, and there's a very real chance they could take control of the system, but the brave men and women of ROS 310 Natural Services are doing everything they can to prevent that from happening. Both organizations have issued calls for aid, appealing to independent combat pilots for support. Commanders who participate in the conflict will be generously rewarded by their chosen faction. Both factions have set out week-long operations to take control of the system, which will begin on the 29th of March 3304. EG Union campaign concludes. The EG Union has announced that its campaign to build a shipyard in CPC 206743 has received the wholehearted support of the galactic community. Hundreds of pilots supported the initiative by delivering commodities to Lyakov Dock, and by eliminating agitators in CPC 206743 and surrounding systems, thereby ensuring the safety of traders. Pilots who contributed to the initiative can now collect their rewards from Lyakov Dock, in the CPC 206743 system. Starport Status Update. This report presents the latest data on starports experiencing technical issues as a result of Thargoid sensor-related interference. The following starports are currently closed. Alien Platform, Kamahu, Corte Real Terminal, 1952, SETI, Kurland Hub, Belasuk, Palmyra Degonaville Escape, Col. 285 Sector, MJG, C1125, Bow Orbital, Abast Sumo. Meanwhile, the following starports are on the brink of closure. White Enterprise, Nan Sapui, Ramsey Hub, So Ling, Harvey Ring, GI 606-1B. Aegis Thargoid report causes ripples. A recent report from Aegis, outlining the Thargoids' history and their interactions with the Guardians, has elicited a wide range of responses. A brief statement was released by Federal President Zachary Hudson. It is now clear that there is no reasoning with this alien menace. The Federation remains dedicated to wiping out any threat to our citizens. Imperial Admiral Denton Patrius adopted a similar viewpoint. This new information makes it clear that the Thargoids will reject any diplomatic overtures. We must redouble our efforts to defend ourselves from their antagonism. Meanwhile, Professor Palin observed, Aegis's report forewarns us, and perhaps forearms us too. We now know that the Guardians developed technologies capable of resisting the Thargoids' aggression. Therefore, it is not unreasonable to hope that the weaponry being developed by Ramtar based on Guardian designs might help us replicate the Guardians' success, and defeat the Thargoids. Week in Review. Here are this week's major stories. Aegis has published a report containing significant insights into the Thargoids. The information was provided by the engineer Ramtar, compiled from recently decrypted logs at Guardian sites. The report indicates that the Guardians and the Thargoids were once at war, due to the Thargoids' belief that they had a pre-existing claim to the regions of space occupied by the Guardians. Professor Albert Isro, head of research at Aegis, said, "It is clear that our current situation echoes that of the Guardians. Our space, like theirs, was seeded with barnacles thousands of years ago, and now the Thargoids have arrived to reap the biomechanical harvest." The Aegis report has elicited a wide range of responses. Federal President Zachary Hudson said, It is now clear that there is no reasoning with this alien menace. While Imperial Admiral Denton Petrius commented, "This new information makes it clear that the Thargoids will reject any diplomatic overtures. We must redouble our efforts to defend ourselves from their antagonism." Meanwhile, the operation to clear Socho of Thargoids has reached a successful conclusion. Scores of pilots supported the campaign by eliminating Thargoid vessels in the system, and by delivering alien material to Dangtech Enterprise. A spokesperson for Aegis Corps, which oversaw the initiative, thanked those who participated. In other news, Yuri Grom has announced an initiative to create a new shipyard in the CPC 206743 system. The shipyard will produce capital ships with which to defend human space from both human and alien threats. Finally, the Sirius Corporation has announced plans to expand its presence in the Ceos and Sothis systems. The expansion will involve the construction of several new starports, settlements and megaships. And those are the main stories this week. Socho operation complete. The operation to clear Socho of Thargoids has reached a successful conclusion. Scores of pilots supported the campaign by eliminating Thargoid vessels in the system, and by delivering alien material to Dangtech Enterprise. A spokesperson for Aegis Corps, which oversaw the initiative, made the following statement. "The pilots who took part in the operation have my thanks. They showed some real mettle. I can't promise the material they delivered will lead to any momentous discoveries, but you never know." Pilots who contributed to the initiative can now collect their awards from Dangtech Enterprise in the Socho system. Sirius Corp announces expansion. The Sirius Corporation has announced that it will be expanding its presence at 2 locations just outside the core systems. A spokesperson for Sirius made this statement. "For some time now, the amount of traffic passing through both the Ceos and Sothis systems has been steadily increasing. Naturally, we are keen to ensure that all pilots have access to essential services. To this end, we are in the process of building several new starports and settlements in these systems, as well as several megaships. These will support Ceos and Sothis's residents and visitors, and provide pilots with the high standard of services that they have come to expect from Sirius Corp." EG Union Campaign. Yuri Grom has announced an initiative to create a new shipyard in the CPC 206743 system. The ship will produce capital ships with which to Yuri Grom has placed an open order for various commodities to build the shipyard, and has promised to reward pilots who deliver these commodities to Lyakov Dock, in the CPC 206743 system. The organization has also placed a kill order on all ships on its wanted list, to ensure that pilots delivering commodities can do so safely. The spokesperson elaborated on the nature of the campaign. "Recent events have demonstrated that humanity is not prepared for a possible Thargoid invasion. Building a shipyard for Farragut-class ships is the first step in establishing a defensive perimeter. It is essential that traders do not encounter any difficulty when delivering materials, which is why the EG pilots, Yuri Grom's elite task force, have been asked to eliminate any agitators. We are also asking independent combat pilots to help us neutralize any threats." The campaign begins on the 22nd of March 3304 and will run for 1 week. If the final target is met earlier than planned, the campaign will end immediately. Thargoid Revelations. Aegis has published a report containing significant insights into the Thargoids. The information was provided by the engineer Antar, compiled from recently decrypted logs found at Guardian sites. Key extracts from the report are reprinted below. The codices indicate that the Thargoids may be an older race than the Guardians, and that the two species share a history of conflict. This hostility was a product of the Thargoids' belief that they had a pre-existing claim to the regions of space occupied by the Guardians. The Guardians attempted to communicate with the Thargoids, but these efforts ended in failure. They determined that the Thargoids' survival instincts were so strong, that they could not tolerate any potential threat, including the proximity of another spacefaring civilization. It is now clear that the Guardians' defensive drones and advanced weaponry were developed principally to protect their worlds from the Thargoids. Although details are scant, It seems these war machines eventually succeeded in repelling the Thargoids. Professor Albert Isro, head of research at Aegis, publicly commented on the report. Thanks to Ramtara and the brave pilots who explored Guardian sites, some of our questions about the Thargoids have been answered. It is clear that our current situation echoes that of the Guardians. Our space, like theirs, was seeded with barnacles thousands of years ago, and now the Thargoids have arrived to reap the biomechanical harvest. We now know that the purpose of the Thargoids' ongoing military offensive is to remove humanity from what they consider their territory. If the Thargoids adopt the same modus operandi as with the Guardians, their next move will be to start aggressively mining mineral resources. There is no evidence this has yet begun, however. Ramtar has also made a statement about the impact of the findings. Until now, the Thargoids have been shrouded in mystery, and their objectives have been unclear. For the first time, we have an insight into what drives them, why they are attacking us, and what their overall goals are. This is a historically significant discovery that I believe will make a huge difference to this conflict, and perhaps to humanity's survival. Starport Status Update. This report presents the latest data on starports experiencing technical issues as a result of Thargoid sensor-related interference. The following starports are on the brink of closure: Elian Platform, Kamahu, Korte Real Terminal, 1952, SETI, Kurland Hub, Belasuk, Palmyra Degonoville Escape, Cole, 285 Sector, MJG, C1125, Bow Orbital, Abast Sumo. Thargoid surveillance continues. According to Aegis, their operation to monitor Thargoid activity in the Pleiades Nebula has already begun to show results. Aegis released the following statement on behalf of Admiral Aidan Tanner, their chief military liaison. The new Eagle Eye installations are a success. They have identified fluctuations in Thargoid transmissions from a number of planet-side structures. With the invaluable help of the members of the Pilots Federation, we have identified that the new signals are pointing to locations in human space. We believe these to be identifying the location of potential Thargoid attacks, and if this is proved to be the case, it will be a huge breakthrough, and a validation of our work here. We continue to monitor the Thargoid activity using the Eagle Eye installations in the Pleiades, and have confirmed reports that the Eagle Eye installations have detected new signals. We urge all available pilots to investigate these changes to see if we can thwart the Thargoids. Non-human signal sources in Huvang-D. Local security services in the Huvang-D system have announced today that there have been no new sightings of Thargoids over the last 24 hours. The head of local security forces released the following statement. We do not know why the Thargoids appeared in our region of space, or why they now appear to have left. We can only speculate as to their motives. However, we thank all the brave pilots that came to the system to help defend against this potentially catastrophic threat. There is speculation that the Thargoids planned to attack the system and were held back by the influx of combat pilots engaging them, while others claim that the Thargoids might be exploring or looking for resources, and have simply moved on. While no one has reported any further sighting in nearby systems, security forces in the region remain on high alert. The Purge of Socho. Following reports of Thargoid incursions into the core systems, Aegis Corps has launched a counter-Thargoid operation in the Socho region. A spokesperson for Aegis Corps gave the following statement to the media. The goal is simple: take out Thargoid vessels, gather up the pieces, and deliver them to Dangtech Enterprise. We don't know as much about the scouts as we do the interceptors, so we want to compare materials from both variants and find out what they are made of. Aegis Corps has appealed to independent pilots to support the operation by destroying Thargoids in Socho and by delivering biomechanical conduits, propulsion elements, and weapon parts to Dangtech Enterprise. Commanders who participate in the operation will be generously rewarded. The campaign begins on the 15th of March 3304 and will run for 1 week. If the final target is met earlier than planned, the campaign will end immediately. Coalition of Othime campaign concludes. The coalition of Othime has announced that its campaign to build a new asteroid base has received the wholehearted support of the galactic community. Hundreds of pilots supported the appeal by delivering commodities to Levi Montalcini dock, and by eliminating agitators in Othime, thereby ensuring the safety of traders. Authorities in Othime have extended their gratitude to those who participated in the operation. Pilots who contributed to the initiative can now collect their rewards from Levi Montalcini dock, in the Othime system. Fresh knowledge from New Guardian sites. Following the recent discovery of New Guardian sites, the engineer Amtar is seeking help from the galactic community to learn more about the long-lost civilization. Further details were outlined in his latest announcement. I have developed a decryption algorithm that will translate the codices at Guardian sites. However, pilots are reminded that accessing Guardian data is only possible when in possession of one of their artifacts. Pilots can obtain Ramtar's decryption algorithm from any station in the main system other than Felistock. The artifacts alluded to by Ramtar can be found at Guardian sites. Commanders are warned to be on alert, as the sites may be defended by Guardian drones. Ramtar also stated, "I will be more than pleased to reimburse any pilot who successfully returns to the main system with a complete series of Guardian logs. There is so much more for us to discover about the Guardians and their history, and this could be a significant turning point in our understanding." Thargoid surveillance in the Pleiades. Aegis has launched an operation to monitor Thargoid activity in the Pleiades Nebula. Admiral Aidan Tanner, Chief Military Liaison at Aegis, made this statement. "Our new Eagle Eye initiative will closely monitor systems where Thargoid surface sites are known to exist. We have established orbital surveillance installations at 6 locations in the Pleiades, which will measure energy level fluctuations and track ship movements. Each installation is attended by a comms beacon that will collect the data before transmitting it to us for analysis." Aegis has confirmed that Eagle Eye installations have been placed in the following systems: HIP 17225, HIP 17692, HIP 17892, HR 1185, Pleiades Sector IRW, D155, Pleiades Sector KCV, C24. Professor Albert Isro commented, "My hope is that this initiative will greatly increase our knowledge of the Thargoids. Observing their natural activities, outside of combat zones, should further our understanding of their behavior." Week in Review. Here are this week's major stories. Several new Guardian sites have been discovered, resulting in a wealth of fresh information about the Guardians' long-lost civilization. Some of this information has already been put to practical use by the engineer Amtar, who has produced blueprints for new weaponry and power plant systems based on Guardian designs. Several galactic figureheads reacted to the news. Federal President Zachary Hudson said, "Anything that helps us defend our citizens from Thargoid aggression is welcome," while Imperial Admiral Denton Patrius expressed hope that the new armaments would provide a tactical advantage in our conflict with the Thargoids. Meanwhile, Aegis has launched an operation to monitor Thargoid activity in the Pleiades Nebula. The Tri-Superpower Initiative has established orbital surveillance installations at 6 locations in the Pleiades as part of the Eagle Eye Initiative. The installations will monitor. The coalition of Othime has announced plans to develop refinery facilities in its home system, through the construction of a new asteroid base. The organization hopes that the new base will allow it to compete with other refineries in the region. And those are the main stories this week. Coalition of Othime campaign. The coalition of Othime has announced plans to develop refinery facilities in its home system, through the construction of a new asteroid base. A spokesperson for the coalition said, "Othime relies heavily on its refineries, but those refineries are limited to small and medium cargo vessels, which limits the amount of revenue we can generate. A new asteroid base would allow us to support large ships, such as the Anaconda and Imperial Cutter, and allow us to compete with other refineries in the sector." The organization has placed an open order for various commodities, and has placed a kill order on all ships on its wanted list, to ensure that those contributing material to the campaign can do so safely. Pilots who contribute to the initiative will be generously rewarded. The campaign begins on 8th of March 3304, and will run for 1 week. If the final target is met earlier than planned, the campaign will end immediately. Colonia Initiative concludes. The Colonia Council has announced that its campaign to build a security installation in the Colonia region has been warmly received by the galactic community. Large quantities of material were delivered to Dovenigma over the past week, allowing the initiative to move to the construction phase. A spokesperson for the Colonia Council, which is overseeing the campaign, gave the following statement: "The new installation will help us protect the people of Colonia from the ever-escalating Thargoid threat. Our thanks go to those who supported the campaign." Arecrimson Vision Corporation. Arecrimson Vision Corporation, Colonia. Arecrimson Vision Corporation. Gold Hubarek. The Guardians. The galaxy reacts. There has been a range of reactions to the discovery of new Guardian sites, and to Ramtar's development of Guardian-inspired technologies. Federal President Zachary Hudson said, "The Federation congratulates Ramtar on his success. Anything that helps us defend our citizens from Thargoid aggression is welcome." Imperial Admiral Denton Patrius echoed this sentiment. "I am pleased to hear that new, more powerful armaments are being produced. These will provide a tactical advantage in our conflict with the Thargoids." Alliance Prime Minister Edmund Mahone struck a more balanced tone. "Information is wealth, and Ramtar's efforts to expand the boundaries of science and knowledge will make us rich indeed." Meanwhile, Samguru, Pranav, and Tile of Utopia look to the future. "There is enormous potential for humanity to benefit from the technology of our galactic predecessors, and we look forward to sharing whatever prosperity these new discoveries may bring." Finally, Professor Albert Isro, head of research at Aegis, commented, "I have already contacted Ramtar with the hope that Aegis can study his new data. Understanding more about the Guardians may enhance our knowledge of the Thargoids, and perhaps help us to comprehend their motives." Ramtar announces new discoveries. The engineer Ramtar has revealed that his recent request for pilots to investigate possible Guardian sites has yielded significant discoveries. He has released this statement. "Thanks to many courageous commanders, we have found several new Guardian sites, and recovered a great deal of data. As I theorized, the ruins are not as dead as they seem, since some are actively defended by ancient Guardian drones. My analysis of the data has yielded key technological information, much of which can be put to immediate practical use. This has allowed me to produce blueprints for new weaponry and power plant systems, based on Guardian designs. I am currently liaising with technology brokers to manufacture and distribute these devices, which I hope will benefit the galaxy in these troubled times." Ramtar added that he will continue to rely on the galactic community's support in unearthing further knowledge about the Guardians.